I'd like to introduce you to someone who just joined the Delayed Input crew, Bryce. Bryce's usual responsibility is to stand still and help me focus the camera. And tonight I've given him a second job, and that is to prevent you, the viewer, from viewing any potentially harmful imagery. So if you see Bryce again, please do not be alarmed. He is here for your safety. Following up that excellent teaser from Warner Bros. CEO David Zaslav last February, Mortal Kombat 1 was officially intentionally revealed this week with this announcement trailer. And then leading up to the reveal, Mortal Kombat had tweeted this teaser which featured a second hand on a clock skipping from 11 to 1. There was a very specific leak detailing not just the title, but its specific retail versions. All of this is to say that this part, the title, did not come as a surprise this week. We knew it would be called Mortal Kombat 1. We knew it would have a collector's edition for a ridiculous amount of money. But we didn't know these important three questions. What's it look like? What's the vibe? And most importantly, what's new? In terms of addressing these mysteries, I find the announcement trailer to be dreadfully insufficient. In other words, I think it is bad. Here are my 5 problems. Problem 1. This again. Back in 2021, the second ever episode of Delayed Input, we had already figured that the next Mortal Kombat would be some sort of Shrek 4 timeline reboot.
Mortal Kombat 11 gets so crazy that by the end, it's very clear we're dead set on doing a reboot of the timeline again. It is like, Mortal Kombat is like every 10 years, it's the Lost Island. It just starts shaking and Ed Boon has to like type in the numbers.
So this dramatic reset did not come as a surprise to longtime Delayed Input viewers. And yeah, it is called Mortal Kombat 1, which is interesting. Back in February, back during that earnings call, Zaslav actually called it Mortal Kombat 12. So at least internally it was still called that. Mortal Kombat 1 is Mortal Kombat 12. Let's not get hung up on that title. It's really not a thing that bothers me. And neither is the timeline reboot. I actually think Mortal Kombat 1, conceptually, is a great opportunity. First thing said in this trailer, Fire God Liu Kang is talking. He says, I've reset the world for you. By the way, that happened. And at the end of the Mortal Kombat 11 DLC, he does that. That's a real thing that happened. Anyway, he says, you don't have to fight anymore. You could do anything. And, in this trailer at least, everyone looks the same and they fight. They do what they always did. It's in our blood. September 19th. Anything could be different in this reality. Anything. And yet, nothing is. But actually, let's talk about that fighting. Because problem 2, that's not fighting. There are 0 punches in this Mortal Kombat trailer. And 1 measly kick. This one right here. Everything else? Murders. Just murders. Fatalities with no buildup. Everyone went from dramatically squaring up to suddenly just reaching into a woman's skull and squishing her eyeballs. It's a fighting game. You gotta show fighting. And while we're talking about this eyeball squishing guy, problem 3, Shang Tsung, the pre-order character. Even in Liu Kang's entirely reset new universe, Shang Tsung appears here out of this portal, inevitable as Thanos himself, presumably pivotal to the story, and at the end of the trailer, we find out that he is a pre-order exclusive character. Meaning, if you care about Mortal Kombat 1, if you intend to play this game, you would be stupid not to pre-order it. Now that might be shocking to you that a game would do this. However, this is historically kind of NetherRealm's thing. Look at the end of this trailer for Mortal Kombat 11. Look at the end of this trailer for Mortal Kombat 10. Look at the end of this trailer for Injustice 2. So really, it would be weird if this trailer didn't end with some sort of pre-order exclusive DLC villain walking out from the shadows. The big difference, though, in each of those other clips, those are from trailers where they finally showed off what the game looks like. They're gameplay trailers. Here we jumped the gun a bit. Pre-order now. What are you waiting for? You want us to show the kick again? Problem 4. Everything that's missing. If you go to mortalkombat.com, as I often do, you will learn some interesting things about Mortal Kombat 1 that the trailer did not show at all. For instance, for some reason the combat pack includes a Jean-Claude Van Damme skin for Johnny Cage. But most notably, look at this. Cameo fighters. Choose from a unique roster of cameo fighting partners to assist you in battle. That's new, that's cool, but look at this image again. Sub-Zero and Scorpion are obviously not going to be cameo fighters, but this dumb trailer was so focused on the classic All-Stars being their classic selves and doing nothing actually out of the ordinary that this poor person organizing this website had 0 screenshots to use to demonstrate this new feature. Think about it. Calling in one of those cameo fighters in this announcement trailer could have been such an exciting, splashy moment. Instead, we got this kind of splashy moment. But look at this. This is the first question on the frequently asked questions page. What type of game is Mortal Kombat 1? Simple question. Here's the answer. Mortal Kombat 1 is the latest title in the acclaimed Mortal Kombat video game franchise, developed by award-winning NetherRealm Studios. The game will introduce a reborn Mortal Kombat universe that has been created by Fire God Liu Kang, featuring reimagined versions of iconic characters as they've never been seen before, along with a new fighting system, game modes, bone-crushing finishing moves, and more. Firstly, if this game does indeed include reimagined versions of iconic characters as we've never seen them before, show that. Show that immediately in your introduction to this video game. Don't just stick that in a bullet point on your website. By the way, I do love how these birds move. This is very cool. You have to prove that we've never seen these versions before in that announcement trailer. That's the time. Show us. Show us depowered Raiden trying to figure out which dog food to buy. The VO is like, hey, these two, they might unite as brothers. And yeah, we've seen them do that. We know. But really, that whole paragraph they wrote to answer that first question on their own FAQ, that leads to my final problem. Problem 5. Weird priorities. What type of game is Mortal Kombat 1? It's a fighting game. There. Mortal Kombat 1 is a fighting game. And yet, never in that entire paragraph does it say that this game is a fighting game. And I know sticklers are already mashing their pointer fingers on their monitors saying, hey, right there it does say fighting system. But you know as well as I do that there are plenty of types of video games that have fighting systems. But really, to me, my primary problem here is that it seems like they're unwilling to just call this game a fighting game. Like they're scared of putting it in that genre. It's like that's a pigeonhole. Just compare Mortal Kombat 1's announcement trailer to its contemporaries, Tekken 8 and Street Fighter 6. When Tekken 8 first came out, I said this: if you're a fighting game, you don't need to shoot the moon out of the sky to be a good trailer. You can present your game as it is, and that can still be exciting. And yeah, I stand by that. That's all it needed to be, and yet Mortal Kombat 1 went in a very different direction. The thing I pick up from watching this announcement trailer is heavy emphasis on the story, heavy emphasis on the faces, and yes, brother, the fatalities will be gruesome. That's what we believe is the core of Mortal Kombat. So I'm going back to those initial 3 questions. Here's how the trailer answers them. What's it look like? Great faces. What's the vibe? Tonally kind of seems exactly the same as Mortal Kombat 11. And what's new? Nothing apparently. Now, to give this trailer some fair context, next week there's going to be the big PlayStation showcase, and that is effectively going to kick off the E3 season. And why I bring this up is that I think that there will be an unusually short amount of time between this game's announcement and its gameplay reveal, and that maybe every single one of my problems will be promptly addressed. All I'm saying here today is that this announcement trailer is stinky. 4.1. And that's delayed input for this week. Thanks for watching. So there's something always silly to me about a website having a frequently asked questions page that clearly were not questions that were frequently asked. You know, I get that this is just what we call these things, but like this one in particular, some of these questions are clearly just promotional setups. Like, will there be opportunities to play Mortal Kombat 1 before release? Anyway, I thought this may have been a confusing episode, so I felt inspired to make my own frequently asked questions for this video you just watched. What's first? What kind of show is delayed input? Look, it's YouTube mixed with fizzy, psychological, like, there's always a honk. Why was this episode so insightful? Thank you for asking that. In fact, every episode of Delayed Input is insightful. Why didn't you make a joke about how Cameo with a K is also the name of Rare's Xbox 360 game? Oh, I didn't think about that. That is very funny. I'll definitely bring it up next time. Why didn't you make a joke about the kinds of t-shirts Goro would have to buy? I recently learned that someone in my family has 4 arms. And suddenly it does not feel appropriate to make fun of that kind of thing. So, shame on you. Will delayed input have rollback netcode? No.